It's 1988, and I work for a law firm in New York City. The revolving doors squeak faintly as I push through, stepping into the marble lobby that smells faintly of floor polish and espresso from the tiny cart tucked into the corner. The security guard nods at me, his polyester uniform slightly rumpled, and I nod back before heading for the bank of elevators. Inside, the elevator starts moving, the brass panel cool under my fingers as I press 32. The walls are mirrored, and I catch a glimpse of myself. Teal Donna Karen's suit with shoulder pads sharp enough to cut through red tape, black turtleneck underneath, and hair swept back with a silver beret. I look the part, though the butterflies in my stomach beg to differ. The elevator hums as it ascends, carrying me and a small cluster of other office workers up to the 32nd floor of the Woolridge building. It's 8:27 a.m., and the air feels electric. Maybe it's the city itself, pulsing beneath us with the sounds of cabs honking and heels striking pavement. Or maybe it's the caffeine kicking in. My coffee, a Veni I snagged from the new Starbucks on 44th, is lukewarm already. But it's New York. Everything moves too fast to stay hot for long. I'm wearing a teal Donna Karen power suit with broad, sharp shoulders that make me feel like I belong here, even though I still get nervous every time someone senior looks in my direction. My Reeboks, white with blue stripes, are for the commute. The black Ferragamo pumps in my tote will take over when I reach my desk. The elevator doors slide open to reveal the offices of Gray and Castellano. The smell hits me first, cleaning polish, toner ink, and the faint tang of cigarette smoke from someone sneaking a puff in the copy room, even though the building's no smoking policy has been in place for over a year. The law offices are like a cathedral of glass and steel, with floor-to-ceiling windows that frame Manhattan in a way that makes me feel small and powerful all at once. The elevator jerks to a stop, and the doors slide open with a soft chime, revealing the bustling office of Gray and Castellano. The smell is unmistakable, cleaning fluid mixed with the burnt, plasticky scent of overworked copiers and a faint trace of cigarette smoke that lingers despite the no smoking signs plastered everywhere. I make my way to my desk, my heels clicking on the polished tile floor as I pass rows of cubicles and glass-walled offices. The bullpen is already buzzing with activity, the sharp clatter of typewriter keys mingling with the low hum of conversation and the occasional ring of a desk phone. "Morning, Maddie." Peter calls from his cubicle, his tie slightly askew. He's wearing one of those pastel shirts that were all the rage, mint green today, with suspenders that seem a little too ambitious for a junior associate. "Morning, Peter," I reply, flashing a brief smile before ducking behind my desk. It's small and perpetually cluttered, the surface dominated by a stack of legal pads, a bulky Rolodex, and the beige AT&T desk phone with its coiled cord snaking across the papers like a lazy cat. I pull off my Reeboks, slipping into my Ferragamo pumps and feeling the familiar pinch of my toes. The heels give me a small boost of confidence, though they make navigating the office's labyrinth of filing cabinets and cubicles a precarious affair. The first call of the day comes promptly at 8:43 a.m. The phone rings sharply, breaking the relative quiet of the early morning. "Gray and Castellano, this is Maddie speaking," I say, my voice steady despite the knot of nerves tightening in my stomach. "Ms. Madison," comes the clipped voice of Mr. Landry, one of the senior partners. "I need the deposition notes for the Truitt case on my desk by 10. No later." "Yes, Mr. Landry," I reply, scribbling the task onto my legal pad. He hangs up without another word, and I exhale slowly, the tension easing slightly as the dial tone buzzes in my ear. By mid-morning, the office is in full swing. The soundscape is a symphony of productivity, the steady whir of the fax machine, the rhythmic clacking of keyboards, and the occasional whoosh of the pneumatic tube system delivering inter-office memos. Someone has turned on a small radio in the copy room, and I catch snippets of George Michael's Faith as I walk by, balancing a precarious stack of manila folders. In the break room, the smell of burnt coffee and reheated Chinese food hangs in the air. Jane from HR is perched on the counter, flipping through the latest issue of Cosmopolitan. Her oversized glasses slide down her nose as she reads, and she pushes them back up absent-mindedly. "Did you see Beetlejuice yet?" she asks, looking up as I pour myself a cup of coffee. "Not yet," I reply. "Is it good?" "Oh, it's amazing. Michael Keaton is hysterical. You'd love it." I nod, sipping my coffee, which is bitter and slightly burnt. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. The day drags on, the hours blurring together in a haze of filing, photocopying, and chasing down signatures. At one point, the office manager, Mrs. Kaplan, scolds me for mislabeling a box of discovery documents. Her voice is sharp and nasal, cutting through the office noise like a knife. "You've got to be more careful, Madison," she says, tapping her manicured nails on the lid of the offending box. "We can't afford mistakes, not with this client." "I'm sorry, Mrs. Kaplan," I mumble, my cheeks burning as I fix the label under her watchful eye. By 5 p.m., the office begins to empty out, the frenetic energy of the day giving way to a quieter, more contemplative mood. The golden hour light filters through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across the desks and turning the city below into a glittering mosaic. I stay late, as always. The office, once buzzing with the frantic pace of corporate law, has now settled into a heavy silence, broken only by the soft tapping of my fingers on the IBM keyboard. The glow from the screen is harsh against the dim room, casting a pale blue light that reflects off my glasses. I can see myself in the reflection, my teal blazer now a little more rumpled, my hair looser from hours of absent-minded fidgeting. Outside, the city never truly sleeps. The faint glow of the streetlights below shimmers through the glass, illuminating the restless tide of yellow cabs and the occasional lone pedestrian moving through the streets like ghosts, each with their own story, their own pace. I can hear a distant siren wail, cutting through the night air, followed by the deep, mechanical rumble of the subway beneath us, the vibrations in the buildings so subtle they feel like an extension of the city's heartbeat. The office is almost eerily quiet now. The frenetic energy from earlier in the day has evaporated, leaving only the hum of the fluorescent lights above and the occasional shuffle of papers in my cubicle. The air is cooler, the windows open just enough to allow the evening breeze in. It smells like city rain, the wet asphalt blending with the faint tang of machine oil from the copy room down the hall. I finished typing up the last of the briefing notes, scanning my work as the words on the screen seemed to blur into a stream of sounds, the rhythm of my typing almost like a metronome. The hours spent here at this desk feel endless, the daylight hours slipping away unnoticed. But in the stillness of the night, something feels different. The city has a way of becoming almost alive, as if the skyscrapers, the people, and the streets are all silently plotting their next move. When I finally close the lid of the laptop, the room goes even quieter, as if the entire office has exhaled at the same time. The faint hum of the fax machine in the corner is a lonely sound, as if it's waiting for something that won't come tonight. I slip off my heels, always the last to leave, always reluctant to end the day, and slide my feet into my worn Reeboks. The leather feels soft, familiar beneath my fingertips as I pull them on. There's something comforting in their simplicity, a small reminder that the corporate world, despite its polished exterior, can never take away the person you were before you entered it. As I gather my things and shut down my workstation, I glance out the window one last time. The lights of the city stretch endlessly beneath me. From up here, you can see the whole sprawling mosaic of Manhattan, each block lit up with promises and secrets, each building a monument to the people who created it. There's a kind of magic in the stillness of this late hour. The golden lights reflecting off the glass of the towers below seem like miniature stars, scattered like a blanket across the darkened skyline. The city feels like it belongs to me, if only for a moment. I step into the elevator and press the ground floor button, the doors sliding shut with a quiet hiss. The soft, tinny music of Muzak drifts through the elevator speakers, some smooth jazz ballad from the radio station. The hum of the machinery beneath me is a constant, a reminder of how far I've come from the girl who first stepped into this building with wide eyes and a slight quiver of nerves. Now, as I descend past the floors, I feel a quiet pride, a sense of belonging that wasn't there before, a feeling that even in this concrete jungle, I've carved out a space for myself. The elevator doors slide open, and I step into the lobby, the soft echo of my footsteps against the marble floor filling the space. The lobby, once bustling with early morning energy, now feels hushed. The security guard gives me a quick nod as I walk past, his night shift just beginning. The fragrance of freshly mopped floors and stale coffee lingers in the air. I pass through the revolving doors, the cool night air washing over me as I step back onto the streets of Manhattan. The city feels different now, somehow. The sharp edges of the day have worn away, replaced by the soft hum of neon lights casting their glow against the brick and steel of the buildings. The distant roar of traffic is like a low, constant wave against the shore of my thoughts. The stars are hidden behind the city's glow, but I don't mind. There's enough light here, enough life, to make the night feel almost magical. It's 1988, and I'm just a paralegal in a sea of skyscrapers, but tonight, just for tonight, the city feels like mine. The skyline stretches out in front of me, glittering like an endless promise. I take a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill my lungs, and for a moment, I let myself believe that anything is possible here. The night is young, and so am I, standing in the glow of the city that never truly sleeps, ready to take on whatever comes next.